Audio Podcast, Assignment 1, Part 2, PIDP 3240. The Media Enhanced Learning course is an excellent opportunity to learn about the developments in and uses of technology in education. In so doing, it broadens the options for engaged teaching and learning and helps the participant to understand changes within the education system. The audio podcast assignment summarizing an article on technology in education is an excellent example of how technology has changed education. The students conduct research, sift through a limitless amount of information, select one article, and summarize its contents utilizing a relatively new form of technology. The article I selected appeared in the summer 2013 issue of Education Canada, a quarterly magazine posted by the Canadian Education Association. It is entitled Teaching in a Participatory Digital World. The author is Michelle Jacobson. I found it online, an option that did not exist back in the 80s when I was working on my bachelor's degree at UBC. Audio podcasts didn't exist either. Well, actually they did, in the form of records, DVDs, and cassette tapes. So a podcast isn't really new. What's new is the technology and its accessibility, which is one of the great benefits of online learning. The world has changed a great deal between then and now, and the changes keep coming faster. The article provides a snapshot of how these changes impact the teaching profession. The one paragraph from the article that is the springboard for the ideas explored in this audio podcast reads as follows. Young people are already connected and resourceful. They use personal technology in creative, entertaining, and collaborative ways. But to go beyond facts and procedures, they need engaged and skilled teachers to guide and mentor them towards the deeper conceptual understandings and core competencies that allow them to reason about real-world problems, critically analyze information, and engage successfully in the 21st century work. For me, the key piece is that moving forward in a meaningful, constructive way in this digital minefield really does require skilled teachers. I also agree that the core competencies are as important as ever, if not more so, because to navigate this brave new world requires insight, critical thought, and the ability to sift through the mountains of information. This assignment is a perfect example of reasoning about real-world situations and analyzing information using technology. I find it comforting to learn that for all of the digital developments in this world, the core principles are still as important as ever. This may not seem as a great insight to most, but for those of us who are behind the learning curve when it comes to technology, it is encouraging to know that we are not obsolete and that we still do have something to offer to those who are technologically savvy. So in a sense, in spite of all the changes in the technological landscape that surrounds and often dominates what we do and how we do it, the more things change, the more they remain the same. When I think of core competencies, I think of reading, writing, and arithmetic. When I think of core principles from an instructional perspective, I think of things like continuous learning, student-teacher engagement, authenticity and relevance, clear objectives, critical thinking, and constructivist theory, building on existing knowledge. From this perspective, digital media or not, teaching and learning have not changed. What has changed is the medium used, the access to and quantity of information, the demand for immediacy and convenience, and the disillusion of boundaries in terms of time, access, and in many cases, privacy. The article touches on nearly every one of the principles that embody teaching and learning as we know it today. It draws attention to the fact that today's work world is about networking, question posing, critical assessment of information and media, collaborative teamwork, and creating new knowledge and ideas. In order to make class activities relevant, teachers need to harness technology to engage students by creating authentic learning opportunities that involve collaborative activities that are similar to everyday activities of professionals in the workplace. These activities are focused on research, integrating information, and are constructivist in that the emphasis is on building and creating ideas as opposed to memorization and recall. This, combined with the fact that students learning online have a greater degree of control over their learning, makes for meaningful and stronger learning outcomes. The author discusses the importance of Web 2.0 technology because it provides for the social component of learning. Through the sharing of ideas and debate, students further their knowledge and discover common interests with a wide variety of people. Learning in a group speeds up the process because an individual is exposed to more ideas, viewpoints, and information sources than when working alone. Finally, the article focuses on the importance of capacity building and continued learning opportunities for teachers so that they can integrate course content with the most suitable technological delivery mechanism. To that end, the author recommends the Galileo Network to transform the teacher's practice to the digital world. Of course, all of this necessitates resources and infrastructure to keep up with technological advances. From a teaching perspective, it makes sense that combining the core principles of effective learning in a class setting with a wide variety of options the digital world has to offer is a balanced approach to the incredible changes occurring in the world of education.